Oh, wrong button. All right, so yesterday we started the earthquake stuff on your reference table, page 11. And I told you it's the hard stuff we're gonna do all year. And what do you guys think of that chart we did on the top half? Very easy. The top half works on the reference table. Top half was super easy. All you had to do was find the distance on the X. Go up till you hit that P wave or the S wave, whichever one you were looking at. So everyone in this classroom needs to have their packet out and their reference table. Danny, I'm literally speaking to you personally. Where's your packet? Where's your reference table? So the first half was super easy. Find the distance on the bottom. All right, sorry, this is the wrong chart. Find the distance on the x-axis, go up till you hit the line, go over till you get the time. Super easy. Then we did the second chart. What did you guys think of that one? Also super easy. Only difference was you had to go from the time till you hit the P wave, go down till you get the distance. Today is where we're going to introduce the tricky stuff. So if you remember yesterday, I said the hardest part of this is going to be reading the question and then knowing what to do, because there's only very subtle differences between the way the questions are worded. So yesterday we started with how long does it take the P wave to travel? Today, we're going to be determining the arrival time difference between the P and the S wave. So you'll notice in there the difference between the wording. I went from travel time to arrival time. So this was when we were talking to Michael, and instead now of saying, Michael, how long does it take you to get here? I'm going to say, Michael, what time do you arrive? No, I'm not forgetting. Michael, what time do you arrive to school? 7:20. Now, if you had taken a car and left your house at the same time, you would have gotten here much earlier. Let's say 6:45. I'm not exactly sure, but based on our talk yesterday, it was significantly earlier. So we're going to be determining the difference between if you take a car here or you take a school bus. What's the difference? And today, we're going to be doing that for the earthquake. So how long is the difference between when they feel the P wave and then when they feel the S wave? So the difference in when those waves actually show up to the seismic recording station. You'll hear the word difference. Normally, when you hear difference, what does your brain click to? When you hear difference. Okay, yes, it does that, but how about in other school subjects? When you hear the word difference? Subtracting. Difference usually means subtracted. And it could mean subtracting near, but I don't like to teach it that way. I teach it a much easier way. So if you are a person who has figured out how to do the subtracting already on your own, more power to you. I will never explain to you or help you with that way because it's way harder. So here's the way I want you to do it. See how there's 4 steps there, 4 lines or 4 numbers, 4 steps. Ready? Step 1. Find the distance on the bottom of the chart. Write this. Find the difference on the bottom of the chart. That's step 1. Who's gonna need scrap paper because you don't have it from yesterday? All right, so everybody's got step one now, I hope. Step two, place the scrap paper vertically, which means up and down. If you know what vertically means, you don't have to write that part. So place the paper vertically for that distance. All right, everybody got that step. Step three, we're gonna do all these steps in 1 second. Step three is mark the scrap paper with a P and the S wave section. And step four, this one's longer and it doesn't make too much sense until we try it, but I want you to write it down word for word. Move the paper to the left side of the chart. Place the mark for the P wave on the 0 and read the time using the S wave mark. All right, let's practice this. So you will need page 11 of your reference table. You can either use the one in your actual reference table or the blown up one that I gave you yesterday. Either one, or I didn't give it to you guys yesterday. We had it from before, but either one works just the same. And you're going to need a scrap paper. Now, let me tell you, there's nothing fancy about my scrap paper. It's just so I didn't have to keep wasting bunches of pieces of paper for everybody. So if you're doing these and you don't have your little strip of scrap paper, any piece of paper you own will be fine. And since you're only using the edge, like if you have like your math homework and you put these little marks on the edge of the paper, Mr. Drake or Mr. Ryan or whoever else you have is not going to care. So just any sheet of paper will work. So here's what you do. We're going to follow the steps. You take your reference table. Oh, so what are we going to do? We'll do the first one on the bottom of page 21. So right here. So it says determine the difference in arrival time for each of the following. So they're saying, hey kid, the earthquake is 8,000 kilometers away. What's the difference between when the P wave gets here and when the S wave gets here? So that's what we're doing. We're going to do it for 8,000. Step one said, find the distance on the bottom of your reference table. So in other words, point to 8,000. That's step one. So goodness, this can never be easy. So step one, find the number on the reference table. So 8,000. Step two, place your scrap paper vertically for that distance. So in other words, straight up and down, lined up with the 8,000. Struggling here. Then step three said, mark the scrap paper where the P and S waves touch it. So you're going to see right here at the 8,000, there's a P wave. So I'm just going to put a little mark right here and label it P. And making sure still that my paper is nice and straight, I'm going to label the S. So again, you're going to want your scrap paper straight up and down for that 8,000 line and just little marks. I'll also give you the hint. The way I did it, I'm going to be putting the marks on the left side of the scrap paper. You don't have to, but it will only make your life easier. Okay, you're going to want I'll show you why in 1 second. So Jake, just move your right here. You'll see in 1 second why that's easier. So like I said, and if I didn't catch you doing it the other way and haven't fixed it, double check. So see how when I'm on the 8,000, I'm writing on the left side of my scrap paper. Here's why. Now you're going to do step 4. Move the scrap paper to the left side of the chart. Put the P on the 0. So where my mark for P was, goes down to the 0. And now my mark for the S wave is where I'm going to read the time. Now, if you had done this, so those of you who I asked you to switch it over to the other side, you would have been doing it on this side. And you would have been covering up the numbers. So you would have had to peek under, and yes, you could have done it, but this just makes your life easier. So again, you've got the P on the 0. So you got the P on the 0, and you read whatever time the S wave says. So just again, line up real good. Mine goes up to 1 line after the 9, and again, what's 1 line after the 9? 20. So that's 9 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm going to let you guys go and we're going to wander around and see how you're doing. Get these last 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side. So we don't need to worry about this chart right now. Let's do just these 9. Yeah.
Just want us to do the one on the left.
Just the ones on the left, yeah. We did have 400. And definitely something more drastic. Yeah, I did do it. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, good, because those numbers are way wrong. Yeah. All right. Good.
Why do I need this?
Each one of your answers, these last two are a little off from them, but not enough. You have to worry about, just make sure you're being as accurate as possible. Is there any under here? They're not important. There you go. Got it? Hang on. So you can figure it out, then more power to them. The rest of us, the normal people, will do it easy. You're doing something.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's why I said at the beginning of
I got 640.
is doing extra stuff and extra work. Weird, but it's the easy way. And I never really practice it. First time, but it's too complicated. You do it the way I do it. If you didn't figure it out on your own, that's not. That was off a little bit. I will never practice. That's why. What were you going to say about it?
I just told my son.
It was, but I figured that was talking about the homework. I figured anyone who was here knew that there was.
Yeah, if they would have paid
I
attention.
forgot.
to class.
Oh,
I don't.
which one is that for though? Yeah, that's what you should say. We got to mark. Okay, so you're up at 9 up and 4. Is everybody done with the first column or getting there? Yeah. Dan, you got them all done? Okay. Okay. So I went around and I looked at a lot of people's, and so I think you did okay. This next one down, I got 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Now I'll say if you got 6 minutes and 40 or right on 7, you're okay. What's the wrong? Do you get weighted? Okay. Michael?
It's just okay, that's fine.
He's just okay. So if you're just okay, it's okay to be just okay. So like if you got 7, you did it right, but something along the way got a little messed up, but you'll still get credit. Then I got 10:20. I got 1 minute even, and then 8 minutes. Did anybody get something like more than 20 off? Or 7:50 is okay, but you got 7:30 for the last one? So my guess is then, so 6,400. Yeah, that's not even okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't even know where you could have gotten 7:30. You definitely weren't on the right line then.
Yeah, probably because I got like 30 different lines.
Oh, okay, that actually is a perfect thing that I wanted to address. When you end up with so many little lines, so you can see I squiggle my lines out so that I don't get confused, because that's definitely the easy thing to do. You may have also noticed that I folded my paper in half. So now I have a new edge. Or look, when you turn your paper over, there's another edge. Or when you turn your paper over again, there's a whole bunch, another set of edges. I'm not trying to.
Well, you succeeded.
Definitely, though, that's a major thing. Is when you end up with so many little lines, you will mess up. Now, on the Regents, you're only gonna have 1 or 2 of these. So you're not gonna have so many lines like for this. So it won't be a big deal then. All right, so hardest thing you did all year, how was that? Still easy, right? Okay, perfect. So now we're gonna change it up and to do the last part of what I think is the hardest thing all year. So now what we're doing is it says we're determining the distance of an earthquake epicenter by using the difference in the P wave and the S wave arrival times again. So arrival time, when they start talking about the arrival time and the difference, that's when you're gonna grab your scrap paper and do the scrap paper stuff. Here's the last way that we're going to use the reference table. So again, we've got 4 steps. These steps should sound kind of familiar, but not exactly the same. So here is step 1. Place the scrap paper on the left side of the chart. What a headache. Everybody got step 1, or should I wait a minute? Nah, I still see some people. Nah, because then you'll have to do it by just watching the video at home. Yeah, that doesn't sound like any more fun than just doing it right now. All right, step 2. Mark the 0 and the arrival time difference on the paper. So you may notice this is basically the last thing we did, just backwards. Three is going to be a little bit wordy. Everybody ready for 3? So like Jake already noticed, it's going to be a little wordy. I do expect you to take your time and write it word for word. You can do it. Keep the paper vertical and move it to the right until the top mark is touching the S wave line and the 0 mark is touching the P wave line. So take your time, write this out. I won't rush you. All right, everybody got that one? I know it was a little wordy. All right, step 4, super quick. Follow the paper down and read the chart to determine the distance. So we're obviously gonna have to practice this to make sure it all makes sense.
It started out as a joke and now it's like I do this a lot now. It's getting bad. It's something you sit here and like
So, yeah, so sounds like he's not a good friend. He's made you do weird things. All right, everybody got step 4? All right, let's practice it again. So again, we're gonna use the same idea. We're gonna do this first example. 3 minutes, what? Where, you know what? I'm all out of scrap paper. So, or at least I'm all out of little pieces of scrap paper. So like I said, the edge of any piece of paper will work. All right, ready to do this one? Step 1, place your scrap paper on the left side of the chart. So that just means line it up with the y-axis. Step 2 said, mark the 0 and the arrival time difference. So like I said, we're doing the example there, it's 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So, oh, helpful hint. So again, because I've done this long enough, do not put the very corner of your paper on the 0. For some reason, it always messes people up by 10 seconds or so. So do it so that your paper, you're physically marking the 0. So you'll notice I'm not quite at the, oh, you can't see anything. We don't need that. So like I said, it just works better if you don't use the very bottom of your paper. So I'm going to mark the 0 and I'm going to label it 0. Then I'm going to go up to the 320 and mark it 320. So the edge of your paper, so again, we're doing it on the left side of your scrap paper. And then step 3, which was that long wordy one that didn't make quite sense until you try it. It says keeping the paper vertical. So you want your paper straight up and down. Move it to the right until the top mark is touching the S wave and the bottom mark is touching the P wave. So you're going up and over until you can find a spot where they fit. Now, I like that Justin said about 2000. So you'll notice I'm on the 2000. And I agree. It looks like my 0 and my 320 match up perfectly with the P and the S. But there's a but coming. So here's the but. So don't forget, we can go to half boxes. So when you're to where it looks like it fits, I just want you to double check. Move it down half a box, move it up half a box to see if it fits better. So when I go to this to 2100, mine fits perfectly. So, and you were on the 2200 with yours, right? So when you think you're to where it fits perfect, before you say, oh, that's the answer, double check to see if you go down or up a little bit to see if it fits better. What'd you say, Braden? We're gonna do again this side of the chart. The whole left side, yeah. So you got 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more to go. So again, go ahead and give it a whirl. So you'll see it's basically reverse of what we did last time. Another hint, you can keep using the same 0, guys. I know, not just a hat rack. Yeah.
For 8 minutes, 40 seconds? Yeah. We do that. I get that too. I have 6,100. I think I'm right. I don't know. Yeah, you are. Got 7,100.
So again, guys, when you think you're where it fits, go up half a box, go down half a box, see if it fits better. Sometimes it won't, but I do want you to double check it.
Yeah. What'd you get? 10,000.
For which one?
For Search, I suck. No, no.
I didn't get 10,000. Show me 10,000.
Search, what'd you get? The fourth one. I got 9,000.
Alright.
Okay, so
Can you show me?
Richard, I look pretty, it looked pretty right.
No, show me where you got it. So this one is that would go up a little bit. Right.
Might be 9,800. I think Miss Richard.
Show me. I was here to confront. Okay, so it was a little bit below where you were the first time. Yeah, but go down. Keep going.
5 minutes.
Or Joe, that looks like it right there. And then 2, 4, 6.
Maybe.
who's struggling?
I'm done.
Hey, what did you get for the second one? 3,200. Second to last, 3,000.
If you have not finished the left side of that chart, that's homework. So I want you to have that all done. I don't know if I've mentioned, we are going to have a quiz. It's going to be an open notes, open reference table, open stuff. Quiz, it's gonna be work alone though. Quiz on Monday, and it's going to be on ESRT page 5. That's the world map with the plate tectonic situation. And like I said, it's gonna be open notes. So it's more gonna be like a in-class practice situation. Yeah, I got the quiz, stand right there. Let me close this.